Hi, this is Ask Brock. I'm Brock Yordy. This week's question comes from Jim in the Western United States. Brock, let's talk about fluid disposal. There's a lot of bad press right now out of Pennsylvania, Oregon about drilling fluids and disposals. What's your recommendations? It's a great question. 17 years ago when I first hit this industry, we talked about the hot button topic of drilling fluid disposal and how we were going to handle it, what our future entailed. And, the regulations have slowly tightened up, but haven't tightened up as fast as I thought they would have, or many of us thought they were going to. So first off, drilling fluids isn't the issue with disposal, especially if we're using NSF standard 60 or 61 certified fluids. It's the fact that when we start the disruptive drilling process, we get into, heavy metals, other things in the soil that we can't, control, and then we go from a drilling fluid to a drilling mud, and you talk about Pennsylvania, that was a HDD job, that was an issue. So first, if we're going to dispose of a drilling fluid, we need to get a toxicity characteristics leaching process, a T-clip test done to know what kind of metals, how we're going to dispose of it. And if we're vertical mud rotary, we're low solids below, even 9.5 pounds, 10 pounds, it's going to be hard to solidify that material. It's going to take quite a bit, or we're going to use a super absorbent. So, we got to look into how we want to dispose of it. Obviously, solids control, we can get into a situation where we're going to reduce the amount of drilling fluid required, and we're recycling it, and then we can dispose of that spent fluid, by solidifying. There's lots of different combinations out there. There's chemical combinations, there's fly ash, there's alum. You have to be environmentally responsible on what you're using. There's super absorbents, there's zeolite, there's bentonites, there's cement. There's all sorts of different things we can get into, but we basically look at it this way. We're going to have mechanical filter presses, filter bags that we can get into that'll help us dispose and, get that drilling fluid to start to be more of a solid and the fluid phase getting to desiccate out of it. Next, you're going to get into chemicals, which will help us break out that water, remove that water, realize it's not really water, it's effluent. So even if we get something that comes back clear or 10 NTUs, we need to know what we chemically hit it with, and we're going to still need a T-clip test on that to know what heavy metals and stuff. Just because it's clear doesn't make it safe. So, the best thing is just a good drilling program from the beginning. A solids control unit that's going to get you good dry solids coming off the back of the shaker, the underflow of those cones. How are we capturing that and removing the fluid phase to it? So if we have semi-dry solids coming off and we can get them onto visqueen or into, a dump basket, then we have a way of holding that, getting the rest of the water decanted out. Maybe we have a big pit and we put the fluid in there, and then we start to add a absorbent, or we add something in there that's going to solidify. There's great concepts out there. Baroid Surface Solutions does different stuff. Setco's got different stuff. MI, Wildband, they all have alternatives, but it really comes down to planning and understanding. And the idea of solidification works great in horizontal directional because we're such high solids, and we do what's called a sacrificial mud, which is much different than mud rotary for water wells or geothermal, where we're recirculating that stuff, and we end up with a spent fluid that is very low solids. So we need to know our solids content. We got to get that mud kit. We need to know the density of our fluid, and then get with a good company that's going to help you come up with the best disposal plan possible. That's the smart thing. And then we just have to understand that we can't, pump that stuff off. We should even ask when a vac truck comes and gets it, where is it being disposed of and how it's being treated. We have to be environmental stewards to our industry. Hope you guys are being safe. Have a good week.